Blog Talk Radio.
From Winston-Salem, it's Sunday Night Dead.
Edition of Sunday Night Dead. This is Matthew Slozer from Autumn Moon Paranormal here in beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Actually, this is the only Sunday Night Dead this whole month that I'm actually going to be here in Winston-Salem at the House on Haunted Hill, as we refer to it. Last week at South Pittsburgh Hospital, I want to thank George Lopez for helping me out with the dual spirit box session. Really, really interesting things going on. If you didn't get a chance to check out last week's show, please check out the archives. It's pretty interesting. I didn't get a chance to review it all yet, but I will say it certainly sounded, we listened to the show on the ride back from South Pittsburgh, and it sounded to me, again, I got to do it with headphones on, but it sounded to me on several occasions that it sounded like we were getting EVPs during the show. So should be pretty interesting stuff to check out. I did want to also give you guys a little recap on it. Still a little off schedule here. This is the second time we've done the 46-hour lockdown there, and great location. If you get a chance, definitely check it out. If you do the 46-hour, definitely pace yourself. I learned my lesson. I learn every time I'm there more and more. Having that much time to investigate, you have to go at a very different pace than you do when you're only in a location for a few hours or 8 hours. So very interesting stuff. We got I have one clip that I'm going to play in a little bit here from our experiences there. One thing I'm going to also add is when we were there last time, we did this simulation where we pretended that people were trying to break into the hospital to get into the pharmacy, and so we did all these evacuations. Well, what is interesting is George, after the show, was staying on. Him and Mike Buller were checking out the live feed from the location, and they were hearing crazy noises up in the third floor. Pam and I went down to the second floor pharmacy area, again, where we did this evacuation before, and the noises in there were so loud, we actually had Cindy check it. We called Cindy to let her know what was going on, and they also had the police do some drive around the location because it literally sounded like someone was trying to knock down one of the doors to get into the place, and actually those noises continued off and on for the whole entire time we were there. So again, kind of wondering, that was not a noise we've heard in past investigations. Part of me is wondering if it wasn't sense of humor on the spirits' part that we had that fake simulation, so they were going to fake us out this time and make it sound like somebody was trying to actually break in. Got a great show lined up for you this evening. We have After Dark investigators, Tommy and Athena, calling in very soon, and they were in September, and they were had a great show back then, and they were actually calling from a location, and they had some interesting things that I believe happened after that. So without any delay here, let's bring on our guest tonight from After Dark investigators, Tommy and Athena. How are you this evening?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
It's good. It's going great. You guys doing well tonight?
So, yeah, we're doing good. We actually have somebody else online with us.
All right, well, I'll let you go ahead and do the introductions.
David, are you there?
Yep, sorry, phone's breaking up a little bit. How's it going? I'm Dave.
Hey, Dave. So I wanted to kind of dive right into this of last year. Well, I guess first of all, for anyone that might be new listening in, can you give us just a little bit of background about how you got together into doing this and how your team got started?
Well, me and Tommy started dating back in 2008, and, you know, he was into it and I was into it, and we started going to, you know, the first place I think we went to was Seaview in Staten Island, and that was like our third date, like, you know, during Halloween and stuff. And then, you know, as we started buying more and more equipment and stuff like that, we got more into it, we started traveling, and, you know, here we are now.
Oh, awesome. So last...
paranormal.
I'm sorry?
I said we eat, sleep, and breathe paranormal.
Oh, I understand. I understand. Also want a quick ad here. The number to call in if anyone would like to join us or have any questions, 646-929-2384, or also log in on the chat, which if anyone's having trouble getting in the chat, please let me know, because sometimes we have some technical difficulties here, and the chat's starting out a little late tonight. So that's good odds for the people that are in there, because I haven't given away a shirt in quite a while, so I'm going to kind of pull a random name out of the chat room, and they will win a not a rare and sort of popular Dead Air t-shirt. Also want to bring on my co-host this evening, Miss Luana Kurz from Colorado Shadow Investigators. Luana, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. And I don't believe you were on last time when we had Tommy and Athena on. We have Tommy, Athena, and Dave from After Dark Investigators you're in Brooklyn, correct?
Yeah, we're in Brooklyn. Dave's not, though. Dave,
okay.
Actually, he has a pretty important part to like the last investigation that we did. Like he has a lot of, he knows a lot of background in history, and I'll let him explain.
Okay. Go ahead, Dave.
Very nice.
Well, they had seen the Ghost Adventure show about Letchworth, and that's pretty much where I came in. And then they found me on Facebook, and then just started talking to them a little bit.
Ah, awesome. Well, last show you had some pretty interesting things going on. You were actually we were calling in from a location. I know that during the show you were hearing some weird walking around and some odd noises and things. And I know you had mentioned afterwards that some interesting things happened after the show was over. So I just want to know, could you elaborate on kind of what went on that night?
Yeah, actually, that night was like the craziest investigation that we ever had, really. I mean, after we got off the phone with you, we started an investigation. We started in the morgue where we were calling from, and, we worked our way up to the second and third floor, and it was just, I don't know what was going on that night, but it was completely nuts. It was the first time that we ever did an investigation, and I was so freaking scared that I wanted to run out of the building.
And that never happens. She wanted to get out of that place so fast that night, and I tell you, she's never been that way before,
Yeah, like my knees were just like complete jello. Like I was so freaking scared. I just wanted to get the hell out of there like as soon as possible.
So what kind of stuff was going on?
Well, we did all of the lights out on the third floor because we heard a lot of banging and a lot of footsteps and a lot of noises going on. So we did the lights out. We put a flashlight on the floor, And we asked questions, and the flashlight was going on, and it was going off. We kept asking questions, and then we just completely shut the lights off. And I swear that while I was standing there in the dark, Tommy was like a little bit further down the hall, and I was standing next to Andrew at the time. And I swear something was standing like face to face with me, like I could feel breathing directly on my face. And I just started freaking out, and I was yelling, Andrew, turn the light on, turn the light on, turn the light on. And it got so intense, and, like, once he turned the light on, it just, like, it left. And, unfortunately, we lost a lot of EVPs there because something had happened to Andrew's voice recorder. So we lost a lot of those. But we did get a few. I had my name mentioned a few times, and it was just a crazy, crazy night. We never, experienced anything like that before.
Oh, wow.
And
now, have you been,
I don't know, did you see the episode when Ghost Adventures went there?
I believe I did, but it's been a while.
Okay, well, the guy that we have on with us now, Dave, he's the guy that was on there. So he's experienced a lot of crazy stuff there.
Oh, awesome. Dave, let's fill us in on some of the things that you've experienced there at Leckworth Village.
A good amount. I've been going there since about 2008. And, I started out just with urban exploring and stuff. Didn't really believe in ghosts or demons or anything like that, until there. Like, we would be walking around, hear voices, people, like something calling our names or whatever. We were just there checking out our old building. That's all we were doing. We weren't ghost hunting then. And then the more we kept going, the more it escalated. It was like it got more comfortable with us being there. And it really became an addiction to it. Like, we were there 4 or 5 nights a week, and it's about a 45-minute drive. And it was just insane. We would see stuff out just on the ground. Like, that thing that was following me was like 7 feet tall from what my friend said. And when he was yelling for me, he was reaching for me. And it had turned and looked at him, and it took off running. And then that was the night I was followed. We were driving home, and we stopped to grab a bite to eat. And we're in like this area where we had the radio station on that was the strongest one in the area, like the #1 station in our area. And the radio just cut out, and a voice started coming through on it that we couldn't understand. And it was when we had found out my buddy was covered in scratches from all over his back, down his arms. They were all sets of 3s. And I'm like, all right, let's get out of here. Let's head home. And so we're driving home, and the dome light in my car is turning on and off by itself, like the switch is moving and everything. It was just intense, and the stuff hasn't stopped from then on. Nothing like just night terrors and, you know, being choked out in your sleep to wake up with something standing over you. It's intense there. It's incredible in there.
So it's just as David said, you know. It's just like as David says. I mean, the place it's an addiction. You know, like when we went there last night, we haven't been there for about 6 months. But as soon as we pulled up in front of the property over there, it felt like we was home. You know, it's crazy how much, you know, how crazy that sounds, but it was like, wow, we haven't been here so long, but now we're home. It's like a second home. Like David said, it's an addiction. You know, it's very hard to explain. You have to go there to experience it for yourself. It's an amazing place, to be honest with you.
Now, David, so you actually were hearing the switch going back and forth on the in the car, the dome light?
Yeah, we were here, and we watching it. We could watch it move back and forth, turn on and off.
Oh, wow!
It was unbelievable, and that was like when, you know, it turned from being a joke to me into something, you know, a little bit more serious.
So now you're saying about the night terrors and things going on at where you live. So did that start after that particular evening?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and
ever since then, it's
us too. Happens to us also.
Yeah.
Things following us home.
Yep. I believe honestly that something did follow me home that night. Well, actually us. You know, because, you know, I mean, that drive home that night too, I just felt very lightheaded and very confused. Like I felt like I wanted to pull over and, you know, take a couple of breaths. You know, it's just the air in there is very heavy as well.
And Matthew, if you remember towards the end of the show, the last time, Tommy had to walk out because that was the second time, like, he got affected by something that was there, and he became, like, dizzy and became angry, and he had to step out, and Andrew and I had to finish the show.
I do remember that, and also I will, anyone check out the Sunday Night Dead Facebook page. We do have some additional audio links from Tommy and Athena that some of these I couldn't load. I do have some that I'm going to be able to play for you all tonight. But I will also load up there the archive show from the last time they were here, actually calling in from Leckworth Village, and I do remember that. I remember hearing that you were hearing the footsteps and the bangs, and
yeah.
Also that Tommy did get wasn't feeling well and had to leave at the end of the broadcast. Luana, I want to bring you here in on this. First of all, I've been hearing a lot, particularly in hospital locations, of sightings of these 7-foot tall or larger kind of dark figures in places. What have you heard of these things, or have you had any experience with these, Luana?
Honestly, I haven't with that type of size of, you know, as far as sightings go. I do know that when I went to Waverly Hills, I did see something. It was a shadow mass, but it was low to the ground, and it was they referred to it as the creeper. That's something that was not, from what I could tell, like that big in size, but it did not look like, you know, a typical like shadow person, you know, build. It was more a little lower to the ground. Yeah, it's very bizarre.
So Tommy and Tina, with the being followed, so did things happen? Did things start happening at home then after the night of that show?
Actually, we what we do now when we come back from anywhere, we walk in the door backwards. And ever since we've been doing that, we haven't had any problems at home. But before we started doing that, like a lot of things would be going on at home, like the doors would be slamming. One time I was woken up at, what time is it, 4:58 a.m., and our bedroom door suddenly just like really violently slammed shut. And, you know, we had 2 cats, and our cats seemed like something, they were following something around. They would start crying, and it would look like they're chasing something. And we've had, like, a lot of things, like certain things in the house would go off for no apparent reason. The TV would turn on and off. The radio would turn on and off. A lot of weird things just happened, and, so I looked up ways on how we could prevent that. And one of the things was, I thought it was pretty stupid at the time, but I'm like, hey, why not try it? So now we walk in the front door backwards, and ever since we've been doing that, we haven't had any problems. But as for 7-foot shadow, there is a 7-foot shadow that we caught in Letchworth on our night vision camera. I think we have it on our page somewhere. You might have to scroll down a little bit to see it. But David has actually seen that as well.
Wow.
Now, David, has it gotten any better, any worse? What's going on at your house after? Because if I understand correctly, you've continued to go to this location even after that happened, correct?
Yeah. I kind of never stopped going, and even though I probably should have, but I just can't stop. But it's like it calmed down for a really, really long time because I was just ignoring it, And then the whole thing with Ghost Adventures happened, and it fired right back up. Like whenever I would tell the story to somebody, or they would come talk to me about it, it would fire up. And it wasn't just like the night terrors. It was like things happening around my house, the shadow person walking through my house. Like my parents would see me walking up and down the sidewalk or whatever, and I'll be in my room. So it's like it's my nephew was having a problem with something that he called the bad man. He said he seemed like it looked like they were wearing a really creepy mask, and it was bothering him for the longest time that they actually moved from their old house to a different house. And I mean, it kind of like it comes in waves. Like it'll let me forget about it for a while, and then it comes back in force. You know what I mean?
Now, when you had like the initial issue where it seemed to be kind of ticked off, anything since you've continued to go there and have learned more about the location, anything specific that you were doing that you think may have been why was either angry or wanted to get your attention, or anything you've been able to piece together with it?
I mean, the only thing that was like that stood out that night was we were walking around the grounds, and this is right when we got there. I turned my flashlight on. Right when my flashlight was shining, there was like a little girl in a bonnet, like just a silhouette of her in a bonnet with like holding milk like a teddy bear or something. And it was just there for a split second. It was gone, but it's like been burned in my brain. And we were there with this one girl who was she said she was a medium, which I believe she was, because she never knew about the location, and she was just wandering around it by herself, no flashlight, going room to room like she knew where she was going. And we were in one of the buildings and having a cigarette, and she was like, "Stop that! They don't like that. They don't like cigarettes." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because again, we were just urban exploring then. We weren't ghost hunters then. And then I don't know if it was also because of her being there could have amplified anything. I honestly don't know. It was just, I don't know if it's because we went there a lot and it got comfortable and felt like, hey, let's get in the car with this guy. I don't know.
We actually made contact in the morgue with somebody named Mark that we assumed liked cigarettes because I think it was either Andrew or Andrew's friend that he had brought along was smoking a cigarette, and our K2 meter, which wasn't going off at all, started spiking all the way to the red once the cigarette was lit. So we put the K2 meter on the slab of the morgue, and we put a cigarette down. And we started asking questions like, do you want a cigarette? Did you smoke? And stuff like that. And all of a sudden, the K2 was just spiking like crazy all the way to the red. And through the spirit box, the name Mark came through. When we asked who he was, he said Mark.
Oh, well, I'm going to ask you some more questions on this. I just want to quick jump in here to say that I guess the chat is being abnormally problematic this evening, so a lot of people, I'm getting messages that people are having trouble logging in. So we always blame the orbs who are mad at me over an old promo we did. So just like you're walking in backwards, it sounds really dumb. I don't know why this works, but if I give the orb its time, it seems to help things. So here we go. And I'm going to quick reload the board here, so if we have any, nobody should get dropped on this. I'm just letting everybody know what we're doing. Yeah, well, the story behind that was I did a promo. I actually should do it again soon, where I had a picture. It was actually a picture from Tala with a whole bunch of dust in it, and I said, orbs don't listen to internet radio because they don't have hands, but if they did, they'd listen to Sunday Night Dead. And supposedly that insulted the orb community, and so they've picketed my station here from time to time. They sabotage the show every once in a while. They like to wreak havoc here. So sounds like the orbs are having a field day today because it's really I'm getting lots of messages that people are having a hard time getting into chat. But I guess since I'm getting the messages, everybody's able to hear us. So sorry about that, guys. We'll keep working on it and see how things work out here. So the cigarettes, I'm curious because we have seen some heard some interesting stories at Trans-Allegheny related to this. Have you ever left them a cigarette?
Yeah, we put a cigarette on the slab. That's when the K2 started spiking, when we put the cigarette down.
Okay.
I have the video on YouTube.
Okay, and that's and I'll also add too. We have to check out the site because we have posts from your YouTube channel up there, and so definitely check those things out. So very, very interesting. So the cigarettes. Mark and the morgue like the cigarettes, but Dave, you're saying that when you were smoking that something got annoyed by that, and that's what you think was causing the that initial incident with the scratches and things?
Yeah, well, I was in a different building. I was in like cabin D or something like that, one of those ones. And it was like a dorm for where the kids stayed. So I mean, I can understand, like why the kids wouldn't want cigarettes in there. They're little kids. I mean, but I mean, it was just weird.
For people not familiar with the location, Dave, can you give us a little bit of background about Leckworth Village and some of its history?
What was that?
Can you give us any background, or actually any of you that are comfortable doing it, any background on the location for some people listening that maybe aren't familiar with Leckworth Village?
Yeah, that's no problem. It was a home for like feeble-minded or epileptic people. It started out as, and it was like so like kids with mental disabilities, stuff like that. It was like back then it was kind of like they didn't want that in their family, so they brought it to a place like that to just stay. Which luckily times have changed, but, and it was there for they were there for treatment, and they were there for just abandoned. And it's a huge campus there. I think it's 100 and something buildings. Just
130, I think.
Yeah, some of them are still in use, but the ones that aren't fun to get into.
Great. Now, I wanted to add, I think we talked about this last time when you were hearing the footsteps and things on the third floor. The one thing that's always in the back of my mind in some of these places is I would say I tend to be more on guard and more concerned about running into a person.
Other people.
Another person that maybe doesn't have very good intentions, or based on a couple of things that I've had happen as well, animals. Depending on where you're at, certain animals I wouldn't want to run into in some of these locations.
There was definitely nobody else in the building with us. We walked from the first floor where the morgue is to the first and second floor, or the third floor, whatever you want to call it. There was nobody else in the building with us. And I highly doubt that something that we heard would come from, you know, a raccoon or something like that.
Oh, no, I was thinking like safety things, running into somebody or running into like, you know, I wouldn't expect one on the third floor, but like a wild dog or something. So I was going to ask, have you guys had any issues or
no, the only thing that's really over there is deer and possum, and I mean, we've never seen any animals or anything like that in any of the buildings there.
Any concerns with running into other people in there for maybe some not so good reasons?
Oh, it hasn't happened yet, thankfully.
That's good.
I mean, we go to a lot of abandoned places, and you know, the only people we meet are like, you know, good people that are into the same things that we're into, like urban exploring and bird hunting and stuff like that. We never came across any bad people.
Cool.
There's some in there that get sketchy, but like, you know, I've run into like some homeless people, and you know, some of them are all right. Others, they just, you know, they're out of their minds. But I mean, the biggest thing I'd be worried about is running into a group of like devil worshippers that are doing some kind of ritual, and I don't want to be part of that.
Well, I know, and you can find tons of stuff on YouTube on this, and I never got the chance to go there, and it's knocked down now. But Byberry Mental Hospital in Philadelphia was was notorious story-wise for, you know, all kinds of stuff going on in there. You know, everywhere
they
from
were doing a lot of animal sacrificing and stuff.
Exactly, and drug dealing and just you know, crazy. I guess they had a number of fires and stuff in there from kids having parties and stuff, and so just a wild place. So
there was a prison that we were going to go check out that was in a really bad part of New Jersey, and we decided, like, when we pulled up to it, we decided totally not to go in because there was, you know, like needles laying on the floor, and you know, you could just tell that it wasn't a good place to be. But Letchworth is, I mean, it's not that kind of place. It's really not that kind of place where there's, you know, people like that hanging around. I hope not, at least. But yeah,
it's very patrolled.
So we can run pretty fast, so.
And I got to go right hand.
Luana, I know I've kind of gone along here talking-wise. Any questions or anything for our guests this evening?
Not yet. Sorry, Matt, I was trying to restart, and I still can't get into chat, so I just wanted to update you. I'm listening. I'm just multitasking here, trying to get in. So.
No problem. Again, I don't know what, it seems like we have some new people that have got in, so it's maybe a resolve for some. If other people are having a consistent problem, please, particularly if you're already friends with me on this, send me a message, and I will do what I can here. But it looks like it's going to be one of those nights technically here.
Okay.
So we'll just keep plugging away on it.
Yep, I'm enjoying the stories, by the way, just so you guys know. I'm listening. I'm enjoying all the stories.
Well, I love, and you guys are in a great location. I mean, there's just so many in the New York area. I'm a big fan of checking out that site Opacity, the guy that goes in there and photographs inside of all the buildings.
It's a great site.
And posts it. And so just kind of lead off. Any other kind of memorable locations or areas you'd like to mention that were very interesting that you went into? Again, I don't want to put you on the spot for some locations that maybe you don't want to give away, but just curious if anything else stands out as far as places you've been to.
Well, we've been to another asylum. I think that it was, where was that? Was that in Connecticut? Or? It was upstate, probably upstate. It was called Harlem Valley Psychiatric. And we went there, and, you know, nothing seemed to be going on. Like, we didn't feel any different or anything like that. And, you know, we were just walking around, and we eventually found the morgue in one of the buildings. And, you know, we were doing, you know, EVP, and it just seemed like we really weren't catching anything. So we went to go put down the spirit box on one of the morgue drawers, and this big light anomaly just flew right out of the drawer. And I mean, we tried to debunk this 100 times already. It wasn't a bug, and it wasn't any kind of, you know, dust particles or anything like that flying out, because you could see the dust in the rest of the video, and then you could see this big ball of light just come, like it just manifested from nothing into this big bright ball, and it just flew right out of the drawer. And luckily, I caught it on video, and that's one of the only times I ever caught anything on video like that.
Oh, and I think possibly you we had that posted last time on the show. Was that prior to our last show?
It might have been. It might have been. I'm not 100% sure.
That sounds very familiar. I think we may have had that on the site when we did the show last time. So
yeah, it could have been, yeah. But that was the only time we ever caught any kind of video evidence.
Oh, great. Any other locations that you had interesting experiences in?
I think the last time we talked about all the locations that, we've had things happen. I mean, we kind of stick to, like, abandoned places because we seem to get the best stuff there.
Abandoned asylums.
Abandoned asylums.
Abandoned asylums, we feel, has the most,
I mean, we've tried, like, the whole, paying to stay overnight in haunted hotels and stuff like that, and it was just, a waste for the most part. But we are planning to go to Eastern State Penitentiary this summer. And Hillview Manor is another one we want to check out.
Hillview, I haven't been able to check out yet, but that's certainly on my list. Eastern State is awesome. You'll love Eastern State for sure.
Yeah, we've been there for the tours and stuff, but we haven't investigated there yet.
Ah, very cool. So again, just kind of going through this. So at Leckworth, and I know some of these things we've covered before, but we have some new listeners here as well on this. So that was the craziest night when you had the call last time. Other than, I'm assuming, Athena, with you, the kind of the weirdest experiences in that building was the person breathing on the front of your face.
Also, I got somebody touched my butt.
That same night?
Like, something touched my butt, and I swear to you that I didn't imagine it. It was before that the breathing happened on my face, that we were walking down the hallway, and we were in a room that had an upside-down cross on it. I'm sure David knows which room that is. It's room number 2, and it has a big white upside-down cross on it. And we got a whole bunch of EVPs in that room. And, Andrew had called me the next day, and he was like, "You're not going to believe how many EVPs we caught." And unfortunately, we lost those. But he did tell me that a few of them mentioned my name. And after that, when we walked out of that room to go into another room, I think it was room number 3, is when I got my butt touched.
And this time it wasn't me.
So have you been back in that area since then?
Yeah, we were there last night.
Anything interesting?
No, nothing, not a thing.
That's the thing about these places. Like, some nights it's very active, and other nights nothing happens at all. We
did hear, like, a few things, and Tommy, what was that thing you had with the K2 and that desk with the chair with in that room? Remember? It was
I put the K2 meter on an old desk that was sitting in one of the rooms. And as soon as I put the K2 meter on the desk, it started lighting up.
Well, you were asking
because I was asking questions. What was I asking?
You were asking if this was their desk, did they sit there?
Yeah, I asked if this was their desk, and then it lit up, and then it says, are you, what did I say? I forget what I said.
Was this your room?
Was this your room? And it lit up. It was very intelligent responses.
I have the video. I just haven't gotten a chance yet to upload it.
Ah, cool. So I just lost my. Sorry, man. I lost my. What I was going to ask you related to this. So there's active nights and dead nights. I've experienced that as well. Are there? I guess kind of related to that as well. Do the different areas change? So is there, maybe it's not a total dead night, but an area that was active before isn't active, but an area that you didn't get things in the past was very active?
Well, we went back to the same spots that, you know, we witnessed the breathing in my face and stuff like that. Like, we were in the same exact spots as the last time that we were there, and, you know, I mean, we played back our EVPs and we didn't hear anything, nothing. It didn't have, like, that feeling when you walk in and you just feel like the air is heavy and you just feel eyes on you like we did the last time. We didn't experience any of that this time.
And I didn't get angry again either when we was inside the morgue.
Oh, wow. Any theory or idea as to what was different between that night and last night when you were there?
Not that I could think of, no. I mean, our investigations always start and end the same way, and, you know, we ask the usual questions, and we didn't get any responses this time.
Does it peak? Is there any kind of seasonality to what you see there? I mean, last time we spoke, it was late summer, early fall, and now it's spring. Is the fall more active based on what you've experienced in the past, or is it just kind of hit or miss as to when you have good nights there?
It could be. It could be, but we've been there in, you know, spring, we've been there in winter, and, I mean, we've always caught something there. This is like the first time that we've been there that we haven't caught anything.
Interesting.
And the building lately, it had a lot of vandalism.
Yeah, we ended that.
I mean, I don't know if that could have something to do with it, but, you know, 3 of the spots in the morgue were stolen. I mean, the doors have been knocked down, all the windows are busted out, and there's graffiti all over the place. I mean, I don't know if that could have something to do with it.
Certainly, I would think that it could. If anyone has any ideas on that or any other questions for our guest tonight, the number is 646-929-2384, or you can get into the chat room if it is working. I haven't. If we have some more people in chat, and I haven't got any messages recently that people are having trouble logging in. So hopefully, given the orb, it's time to complain about me has resolved that. I'm going to go ahead and refresh it again just to make sure and see what happens here with that. But so, David, how about your experiences? Has it activity fluctuated? Has activity tailed off recently in general, or what's been your experiences there?
It's still every once in a while pops up and things happen. You know, I was with my buddy. We were watching a movie, and part of the movie was actually filmed there. And you know, I just started, like, his house wasn't so much like it's not haunted or anything, but it's like I started getting the chills, like something was there. Then all of a sudden I have a scratch on my wrist from it. And I was like, you know, what the hell's going on? You know, it was because I don't know if it was because it was filmed in Letchworth. I just, you know, I started talking about having Letchworth because somebody didn't know about, you know, what it was. Because when I see Letchworth on a movie, I got super pumped, you know. And so I'm like, oh, I've been there. Here's a cool story. But but I mean, it gets hit or miss. Like I've been to Letchworth and like tons of times and nothing happened. But like you got to remember, they're not there for your entertainment. You know, they're
right.
They're there for you know, whatever reason they're there. But
it's stuck there.
Yeah. I mean, some nights it seems like they avoid you, and you can almost like hear footsteps running away from you. You know.
Yeah.
And other nights they're coming towards you, and those nights are, you know, those are fun.
Yeah,
you know?
I've had similar experiences with some of the locations I'm in on a regular basis. You know, it's an interesting dynamic because you get used to, you know, being there all the time and the activity level. And there's some nights that I go in and you're going, what's going on? Like, nothing happens. And I've tried to figure out, like, maybe is it with our team, it could be maybe the dynamic of different people and our different energy maybe working collectively. Maybe that has something to do with it. Some nights, I don't know. And then there's other nights where it's like, it's bizarre because, I mean, my locations that I'm in on a regular basis are very active. So I get that sometimes it's not. there's no rhyme or reason as to why you would experience so much activity one night and then other nights it's nothing.
So you're saying it could be the change of people also, if you go there one night with a certain group and then come back with other people?
My experience has been a little bit of that just with the team. Like, I think there's some nights, and I think it's more for maybe this is just my experience, but, maybe there's times that I go in with people, and I'm really big on energy for my team. So it's, do we work well with each other? And I think for the most part, our team is great together. We have good energy, but there's nights that sometimes either I'm off or somebody's off, and sometimes I think that has an effect as well, or if somebody if somebody's maybe frustrated or something, or they've had a bad day and it's just not the greatest, sometimes I think that can also affect what you get collectively as a group. Yeah.
I believe that.
Definitely.
I also want to just kind of kick out as a possible theory. I think last time when you were on, and I don't know if you've done this on your regular investigations, but we were talking a lot about things that went on in that building. I don't know if you normally talk about those things in there, but I guess, another possibility could have been just talking about some of the things that went on there could have got somebody riled up, just like if you bring up upsetting things in somebody's past, obviously that can dredge up emotions and energy that way as well. I don't know. Have you done that on your normal investigations? Gone in there and actually talked a lot about people getting their teeth ripped out and some of the other things that go on.
We talked about the teeth getting pulled out. We talked about lobotomies that went on there. We talked about the first polio vaccine that was tested out there as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I was just going to add, do you have you talked about those things in that location on other nights, or was that something kind of unique about when we did the show?
We did it the last time that we were on the show, and we did it prior to that as well.
Okay.
But last night, last night I don't think we did really. We were only there for maybe an hour.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, we got there rather late, and, the weather was crappy and stuff, and, it just didn't seem to be a good night. And we actually were going to head to the cemetery that's about 2 miles away from Letchworth, but it was too late and stuff, so hopefully we'll be heading back next weekend,
Great. Now, on the vandalism, has this gotten more notoriety lately, or something going on? You think that's increased the uptick in vandalism and people getting in there doing stuff to the place?
I mean, I'm not too sure. We haven't been there since the last time we were on the show. So last night was the first time that we actually went back within, since September. And, I mean, the vandalism wasn't really all that bad, but, the last times that we were there. But yesterday it was destroyed. I mean, everybody they tagged up all over the buildings. They broke the windows and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't know if that could have anything to do with the activity going on. We also were with somebody else. I mean, the last time that we were on the show, we were with Andrew, and that was when we had all those crazy experiences. So, I mean, maybe they're like Andrew. I don't know.
Now, has Andrew been in there other times?
Yeah, I think Andrew's been there. He couldn't be on the show tonight because he's at work.
Okay, at work, so.
But I think he's mentioned to me that he's been there after the show, but he also told me that the last time we were there after your show that it changed his life.
Forever.
And I was like, oh, my God, that's totally right, because, I felt the same way, because we never experienced anything like that before, and, it was just crazy. Like, I don't even know how to describe the night. Like, I mean, some of our equipment just stopped working. I mean, we had a fully charged camcorder, and it just completely went dead. And, I mean, I'm not really, I'm still kind of a skeptic with that, with, equipment just going dead like that. But, I mean, a lot of our stuff just died out, and, we don't have a lot of proof as to what happened that night. But all I could say is that something was standing face-to-face with me, that I could feel that breath breathing right on me. And I was just yelling to Andrew, turn the freaking light on, turn the freaking light on. And, I just wanted to get the hell out of there. And like, I'm a fiend to go to places like this. Like, I'm so addicted to Letchworth. Like, if we was closer and I didn't work, I'd probably be there every single night. So like that night, I just wanted to run the hell out of there.
I know the feeling about. I've been asked before with some of these locations if I about being addicted to the buildings or anything. It's just some of these places are just very, very intriguing, and it's kind of just that. And some of these campuses are just so huge that it would take ton of times there before you feel like you've adequately covered it, and then I'm sure you run into this and probably feel the same way. The more activity you get and the things you get, it's just more like pieces of a puzzle, and there's more that you want to learn about it as well, and so it just keeps wanting to come back. I joked around that if I the downside is if I had ended up winning that Powerball thing and bought a place like that, I would just I'd be like one of those like the guy in The Shining, and just end up hanging out in the place all the time, and probably wouldn't be a healthy thing. So.
Yeah, like when we got there yesterday, I didn't even let Tommy get a chance to stop the car. Like I flung the door open and just ran out. Like I was so happy like to be there. Like I don't even know how to explain it. Like once we pulled up to the building, I was just like, we're here. Like I told him, I was like, I might stop kissing the building or kissing the floor. I was just so happy to be there. Like it's I don't even know how to explain it, but saying it like David said, it's addicting.
So in general, other than sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say I understand that feeling, too, because there's locations that I'm in that I feel like call to me, that I've always felt like this connection with. And it's really strange because there's times like I would think about these locations all the time, and then, it was weird the way it worked out. I ended up becoming a resident investigator for this location, and everything kind of fell into place. Like it was calling to me. I needed to be there. It was really bizarre. So I get that feeling. I understand what you're describing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, along with that, then I guess you got to differentiate. There's the activity in an area heavy feeling, and then there's some other places that just kind of have that ominous, almost like depressing feel to it. So then I'm guessing from your reaction, hey, it doesn't feel heavy or kind of ominous when you're in there, despite its history.
It does.
That sounds like you're comfortable there.
No, well, it definitely does. But the thing is that since we haven't been there in 6 months, and I was so excited to go back, like I was just so happy to be there. But as soon as we walk in, you get like I get like this pressure on my chest to where I feel like I can't breathe and I'm getting anxiety. But I mean, that's why we're there. Like we love it. Even though you get this horrible negative feeling when you walk in there, that's why we're there. If we didn't get that feeling, we wouldn't be going there.
Just kind of wanted to kind of go around on this. Out of the places on that campus that you've been to, and I'll go to Dave first on this. What is the last area that you would want to be by yourself and spend the night in? What's the area that's the most uncomfortable for you?
I'm a weird person to ask that. I kind of want to camp out there and like sleep in one of the buildings.
Yeah, we're actually talking about doing that sometime soon.
Yeah, but if I had to be by myself, I would have to say the cemetery, honestly, because not so much because I don't ghost demons. They don't scare me. They don't bother me. I fear the normal, Like, I'd be afraid of, someone coming out of the woods at me or a coyote coming out of the woods at me. But other than that, like, ghost demons, they can't kill you,
I can totally relate. I can totally relate.
I feel the same way that David said.
So the cemetery.
I fear humans more than the dead. The dead can't hurt you. It's the people you got to look out for.
I'd agree. I mean, last week at South Pittsburgh when we were hearing these bangs and things, and I will we will do a whole recap on this in the future once I'm able to cut it all down. But I'm sure we have multiple recordings of these noises. We weren't going, oh my God, there's some spirit thing making these noises that had us nervous. We were nervous there was some wacko trying to break into the building at the time. That's certainly what it sounded like. And again, we had some other weird things that just based on the nature of it, I don't want to get into here. That also made us think that possibly there was somebody trying to get in. So it's just very bizarre. But I totally agree with you there. So Tommy, is it the cemetery also the last place you would want to hang out because of the people?
Yeah, I agree with that, too. I mean, what is there, about 914 patients buried there? I'm not too sure. I could be wrong. Dave, is it about 914 patients?
Yeah, there's at least, 900 people there. And sadly, ain't that many markers, though.
Yeah, I think they had recently put a monument there, right?
Yeah,
a memorial.
Yeah.
I think last year, right? Last year?
I think so. With all the patients' names on it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
How about you, Athena? Where would you not want to? So I guess the whole camping there.
I love hanging out in cemeteries. So I mean, the last place I'd want to be alone is on that third floor where I had that incident with the bleeding on my face.
Long hallway.
Yeah.
That
was very scary for me. I wouldn't want to witness that again definitely not by myself. I don't know what the hell I would do if I was alone and that happened.
The long hallway to hell.
That makes sense. That building, was that kind of the hospital area, or was it just basically a patient
It was a medical
building?
It was a medical building, and I think the boys' building, right, David?
What's up?
It was the medical building where the morgue is. That was the boys' building, the boys' ward.
I think it was still mixed patient because it had both mixed and everything, but it was for the most severely the people with the worst retardation and stuff like that.
Yeah, the most severe cases were in that building.
Right.
Okay.
I think it was called local hospital.
Makes total sense. We are going to take a quick break here. Let everybody get a drink or smoke, whatever you need to do. And it'll be about 5 minutes, and then we will be back continuing this conversation with Tommy, Athena, and Dave about Leckworth Village and investigations in general. So be back in about 5 minutes, everybody. Hang in there, listening to Sunday Night Dead.
This is the Sundman, and you're listening to Sunday Night Dead, a show I can really wrap my arms around.
Welcome back, everybody. Again, listening to Sunday Night Dead with After Dark Investigators, Tommy, Athena, and we have David with us as well as my co-host, Luana. Everyone back?
Yep.
I'm here.
All right. Also, anyone that is listening, major tech issues tonight, so maybe the orbs missed me since I've been away the last 2 weeks, and that's why they're doing all this. But still getting lots of messages about people having trouble getting into the chat room. So I will keep refreshing it here and just keep trying. And thank you for listening, even if you can't get into the chat tonight. Some odd things going on. I am still, unless we have big trouble with people being able to log on. Looks like the numbers are at least growing, so if they continue to grow, I will do my drawing for the relatively uncommon and rather popular Dead Air T-shirt tonight. So we'll keep working on that, and also, again, why not? Because I don't know why we'll give another orb thing here. So. All right, so hopefully that helps. So what I wanted to get into here is I was able to pull anyone, again, check out the Sunday Night Dead page, because that will have a number of YouTube clips from After Dark in here. And I'm just trying to see. I did load up the audio you sent. There was one I was able to load in, and the other one.
I also wanted to tell you about, I have a friend named Acer that I have on Facebook, and he's also, I guess I would say, addicted to going to Let's Work. Like, he goes there a lot as well. Probably he's been going a lot more than we have lately. And I got to ask him to send me the picture again. He's listening right now. He has a picture that he caught in the hallway, in the same hallway that, you know, I had the incident with the breathing on my face, and he caught in this picture a face of a man, and it looked like the man was wearing a Kango hat, maybe, or some kind of fedora or something, but you could see the feature, like the picture is so crystal clear that you could see the features on the face and everything. Hopefully he's listening and he's going to send it over to me.
Oh,
but
awesome.
it's just like, it's an amazing picture.
And if you want to, feel free if you want to post that on there as well for people to check out. I'll leave that up to you. But what I want to play here is actually, before we go to the devil one, I wanted to play for you all. I thought this was interesting. So we had some weird things going on at South Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, and I haven't been able to go through everything yet. But something I thought was pretty cool was we were picking up the recorder, and this was actually during the day. And one of the claims in this hallway is that they would hear somebody running, like in heels, and there was absolutely nobody, including the owners there behind me in this building. I'm walking down the hall, and it came up very fast, very quick, certainly caught me off guard, but it literally sounded like somebody in heels running up right behind me. And I didn't give kind of the way I always know whether it really shocks me or not, is the phrase I've learned from reviewing my audio. The phrase, whenever I'm really kind of caught off guard and surprised by something, is holy shit. But I didn't say that, so it must not have caught me so much off guard. But I thought this was pretty cool, and I did pull this thing up, so I just wanted to kind of play this for everybody here, because I think this is pretty neat. So I'll go ahead and play this, and hopefully I don't need to adjust the volume here. So you should be able to hear it again. You'll hear me walking, pick up the recorder, but then you'll hear what definitely sounds like this clicking sound, which, again, at the time really did sound like somebody running behind me.
Picking up the recorder.
Wow.
What the hell was that?
I'll play it again quick. In the beginning, you hear me. The footsteps in the beginning are me, and then it's a very kind of loud tapping sound running right up behind, and then I whirl around and see nothing behind me, and I'm like, what the hell was that? I'll do it one more time here.
Picking up the recorder. What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah.
So whatever it was, I don't know what it was. There's claims to that effect in that area. It was loud. I mean, it was an audible thing, not a recording. I also want to quick pass on to anyone listening, because I've heard this before. Melissa was able to get into the chat using Google Chrome. I have heard that, again, not doing any kind of advertisement here or anything, but I have heard that when this does act up, people tend to have more success when they're using Chrome as the browser. So, again, just kind of passing that on. If people are still having trouble getting in tonight, that might be something worth trying. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and load this and play this. Could you guys set this up as to what this audio is? This is the one that you had entitled Devil?
Yeah, that's in the same hallway.
So this was this that same night then when you had these things going on?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play this. It's about 45 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and play it and then let you comment on anything on it, and then we'll play it again. Here we go.
Can you come and talk with the red light? Which room are you in? That was unbelievable.
Okay, was it a whisper in the middle that said devil?
Yeah, but we can't hear it. It's kind of breaking up on our side.
Yeah, we couldn't hear it.
But if you listen to it on the computer, it's clear.
All right, hang on. Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah, we couldn't even hear anything.
It's very hard on the phone. I know because I do a number of these this way. I'm going to go ahead and play it again. I turned it up, so I think I did hear it, but I wasn't sure exactly what I was listening for. So I did hear what sounded like a whisper saying "devil" about halfway through. So we'll go ahead and play it after it goes on. If you want, if you can just let me know when it gets to that point, and I'll go ahead and pause it. So here we go.
Can you come and talk with the red light? Which room are you in?
Right there.
Yep. I heard it. We'll do it one more time. So it's about 20 seconds. We'll do it one more time so that people know where to listen for on this, either live or on the replay here. So here we go.
Can you come and talk with the red light? Which room are you in?
Okay, so there it is. So interesting. Now, have you? I know you lost. You said that you had tech issues, which it's very interesting, and I know that skeptics here will say that it's just our excuses here, but I've noticed this as well. It is crazy that how many times when you're having a lot of activity going on that there ends up being quote-unquote technical difficulties on things. Mike Bowler was commenting, and George, that they were doing a session at the stockyards in Dallas, and they had a doll move, and it just so happens then that the video feed going into that room craps out right around the time the doll moves. Now, I don't know if, possibly the energy that's required to do these things causes interference that screws up equipment, or, like in your case, if it was incredibly active that night, if that helped mess things up. We ran into it this past weekend when some of the crazy stuff was going on at South Pittsburgh. There was difficulties with the cameras going down. So, again, just something very curious that I've seen. Have you picked up that similar voice, or somebody saying those kind of? My own personal view on these things in general is I think they like to, the spirits, like to screw with us, and so if they can say, devil or demon or Satan to try to get a rise out of people, they will. Have you recorded that voice or similar statements in there in the past?
Hello?
Did I lose you? Yeah, did I lose you?
I'm sorry. What did you say again?
No, it's no problem. I was asking if, my theory is, because we've run into this in areas, and I've heard other teams mention the same thing, that spirits, either ones with a particular sense of humor or ones that just want to kind of mess with people, will kind of throw out devil, demon, Satan, words like that, just to kind of get a rise out of people. I was just curious, in that area, have you recorded a similar voice there in the past, or have you recorded somebody saying
like
similar
that,
things?
No. Not anything that says devil or demon or anything like that.
Okay, interesting. Luana, what do you think?
It could be that it was demonic.
Yeah, it was a crazy night, so.
Luana, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was going to say, as far as when we were playing things, I always have a hard time because I put headphones on while I'm on air, and I have a hard time being on this end of the phone, hearing, the quality of it is always bad on my end. That's just my headphones. But, yeah, I definitely think I've had experiences as well where my equipment malfunctions often when I get things. So I think that's very likely. I think, like you said, Matt, they do like to mess with you. And I think also I just want to mention, since we have some listeners that are listening to the show, I know that at the end of the show we usually give some references, but to put it in perspective, if you want to get the visual of some of the places that they're talking about, I did go check out your guys' Facebook page. So I'm looking at your pictures, and it helps me get an idea of the buildings you're talking about, too. So that was really neat. Just wanted to mention that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone, usually we kind of tag team this on the board, but since there's issues in chat, I'm not sure if anyone out there that's in chat right now can access that and post it in the chat room, but that's always helpful as well, any of the their Facebook page or their site or anything in that, so people can reference to that as well. And we will load things up. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, I was going to say, for me, it helps as they're talking about their stories and places they've been, because you see some of these places on television, and you see just a little glimpse of what it looks like, and then you look at their albums, and you can see the inside, outside, just kind of a neat perspective. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll say that's honestly how I found your group and got in touch with you. Is I have, for whatever reason, an affinity towards hospitals and asylums as well. Those are my favorite places to investigate. And your photo album from one of your visits at Leckworth came up. I checked it out. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I got to talk to these people. And so that's how.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's,
Thank you.
Somebody with similar interests here, so I had to definitely get in touch with you. And so, yeah, anyone out there listening, it's very, very interesting. Definitely worth checking out both the YouTube clips that they have on there and their page as well. So, very, very interesting stuff. So, I'm curious on the urban exploration side. Anyone you catch any grief from anybody for doing that within the community?
Yep. Yeah, we have in the past. Not so much anymore. But I mean, we did get a couple of hateful emails about it and stuff, but I mean, whatever. It's we don't do anything when we go in these buildings. You know, we just want to take pictures and stuff, and you know, some people are against it.
Some people think we're crazy, but oh well.
I think we all get that in the field, so.
we call those type of people closed-minded.
Yeah, mostly closed-minded people.
We call people closed-minded.
So, you know, I've gotten emails before that, you know, we put a bad name out for ghost hunters and stuff by trespassing and stuff like that. I mean, I don't promote trespassing. I told you that the last time we were on the show. I don't promote it at all, but I mean, you know, that's, you know, we enjoy doing it, and you know, we're careful. We don't do anything we're not supposed to do besides trespassing.
But if the door's open, it's not trespassing, right, Dave?
Right, David? We're not breaking entering.
Well, I'll add to it. Anyone that has listened to the show before knows, because I've said this, you know, over and over again. There's one thing, you know, my own personal opinion here. That this field and this community, we certainly don't lack some big egos out there that like to tell everybody else how and why they should do things.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Again, my thing, there's different. My reason for doing this is different than some other people's reasons for doing this, and that doesn't make any of our reasons necessarily right or wrong. So I don't pass judgment on anybody's styles or ways they do things, but I was just curious because I would assume that you have gotten grief because I've seen people pitch fits out there in this field over, you know, much more minor things. So.
These
Sorry,
buildings are just like amazing. These buildings are amazing. Like you just walk in and it's just like, you know, you see everything left as is, and you know, it's really an amazing experience to be able to go into places like this and see the paperwork and see old wheelchairs and stretchers and all kinds of medical equipment that was used years ago and hasn't been touched since, and just to see the decay and everything like that. It's an amazing experience, and we love it. And I swear I'll be 70 or 80 and I'll still be doing this.
Yeah, you know, I think that a lot of people that also don't understand, it comes down to not really understanding our intent, because a lot of our intent is based on we want to communicate, we want to know more. I felt the same way, like when I went into Waverly Hills and I saw the old stretchers, and, you know, people would say, well, you know, is it disrespectful because I actually was on one of the body trays, you know, one of the tables, and I'm like, to me, it's about connecting. It's about, you know, I'm trying to yeah, you know, you're wondering, like, what would it be if you were actually here like they were?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, so I think it comes down to your intent is you try to connect. Right?
Yeah. I've gotten remarks, too, that I've laid in the morgue drills and stuff like that, and people are just, you know, against it and stuff. And it's all about becoming one with the place and the history and everything behind it. And
Yeah, I know. And a lot of people, when they look at the buildings, they think, oh, my gosh, you actually go into these places? They're so run down and beat up and neglected. And you're like, well, this is awesome.
I don't know any other girls. I don't have any other friends that are, like, really into doing stuff like this. So it's always me and Tommy and, like, you know, other guys and stuff, and I'm, like, the only female that I'm like, come on, let's go lay in his drawers. Let's, you know?
Yeah.
Like, nobody else is really into it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my girl.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, because when I went to Waverly, out of all of my team, I was the only one that wanted to lay on the body table, and people thought, okay, well, that's for you, not for me. But I love, like, even though it's been abandoned and there's graffiti and there's things on the building, I still can visualize what it must have been like when it was, you know, alive and very much in business, you know. So it's
exactly, yes.
Tommy, you were going to say something?
I'm sorry?
You were starting to say something. I just wanted to give you a chance.
Oh yeah, no. I was just gonna say, you know, when she lays in the morgue in the slab tables, I was gonna say, oh, that's my woman.
Well, I'm curious about that, because I've heard different, you know, reports from people. I know you had the video with the light coming out, but any other experiences when you've actually done that, either recording audio or anything physically you've picked up and you've actually laid in?
When we went to the asylum out in Jersey, the Overbrook, that was the first time I ever laid in one of the morgue drawers. And I laid in there, and, I told Tommy, close the door, and he closed the door, and I laid in there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and my skin started to, itch, all over. I just started getting itchy, this burning, scratching, itchy sensation, all over my arms and my chest and my neck, and it was just, I don't know what caused it or anything like that, but when I got out, I was fine. And that was the first time that we were in there, and the first voice recorder we had at the time completely just, it was running while I was in the drawer, and then it stopped working. It never turned on again or anything like that, and we lost everything. We don't know if we caught anything that night or anything. We just, whatever was on it, we lost. And I came out, and my skin was all blotchy and red.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that could have been.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I went in there as well for about 5 minutes, and I got, ice cold. I was getting goosebumps up my arm. And I guess, like she said, as soon as I came out of the drawer, I was fine. So, could have been a connection.
Mm-hmm. Dave, have you ever done this, laying in the drawers or anything?
Sadly, I have not. My ex did, though. I just wasn't. The one time she did, I just wasn't in the mood to, I was in a bad mood that night, so I was just I just want to walk around.
You got to be in the mood to lay in it.
Oh yeah, because I've had nights I didn't want to lay in that damn thing either.
Yesterday I was going to get in. Tommy was like, "Don't you get in there?"
Funny. Now, Luana, how about you? When you've done at Waverly and things, any?
Yeah, that's been that's why I'm going back again this August, is because out of all, that building by far for me was the most active location I've ever been in, where I could see shadow movement. I could, all night long, audio-wise, they're just talking to us all night long. But when I was in the morgue was by far, I felt like the most activity that we got in the entire building, which contradicts what a lot of people have reported. So I like that we kind of went with our intuition and said this is where we want to focus a good portion of our investigation. Well, I took my EVP recorder with me when I laid on the in the drawer, and I picked up both a male and a female voice. The female sounded very curious, and I was trying to connect again, trying to ask questions about what it was like, and just in general about it was used for tuberculosis center, so it was more around being sick and that kind of stuff in the end, and how just trying to connect with different things. And then she seemed very curious, but the male voice that I picked up was just not so nice, and just telling us to shut up and get out. And so you get a mixture of different things that you attract, but it definitely was. I did capture a lot when I had my EVP in there, so it was neat.
Remind Luana offline, and I'll try to load it on a future show here as well. But I got to send you a clip just to see. I'm curious if it's similar voices. I have one from Waverly, which was a female voice over and over again saying "help me." Says it about 3 times, and then a very aggressive male voice comes over, says, "Give that back," and then there's actually a whole bunch of noise on the recorder, and no more voices after that. So I'm just kind of curious if it's similar voices or the same voice. Just interesting that you got a man and woman and
yes,
interacting. And I had the same. It was only I didn't get a whole lot of clips. Waverly was one of my first places I'd gone to, so I'd say my technique, which continues to evolve, was certainly the least refined first time in there. So I think that had a lot to do with why I didn't get a whole lot, but it is actually a very interesting EVP there. And I agree. I've heard other people say about the first floor there. a lot of people talk about the 4th at Waverly. My opinion, at least from my experience there, I felt like the first floor was the most active, at least that evening. We talked before about the electroshock room, which I have a theory, because at St. Albans, the electroshock room, we had tons of activity as well. That could have possibly be the fact of the energy through the electric shock device as well as the pain and emotion in that area. Does that leave some kind of residual field or residual activity that allows them to more easily manifest things? I don't know. Have you, at Leckworth, have you found, or do you know, have you ever been in an electroshock room there?
I don't think we found that. David?
No, the most I found there is like the hydrotherapy tub, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we saw that too.
Yeah, I mean most of the equipment, like stuff like that, has been taken out. Now in the other medical building, the one they didn't have that on TV though. There's still all the equipment in there. But that one's harder to get to. It's right on a college campus, and you kind of gotta be really sneaky. But I mean, that one's still cool. The more doors are still on, the freezers. Yeah, it's got everything in there. It's unbelievable.
I found 2 bottles of formaldehyde in the other medical building.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's nuts.
So yeah, well that's something. If you do happen to find the electroshock room, I'd be curious. Again, it's just for me, stat-wise, it's a limited sample size. It's only 2 locations, 2 electroshock rooms, but I found it interesting that at least when I was there, those were the 2 most active rooms in those locations at the time that I was investigating. So just curious if there's anything to that. How about the hydrotherapy room? Again, that's not as much energy involved in that, but another rather traumatic treatment that they used to do. For anyone who's not familiar with that, they would do either, in some cases it wouldn't be so bad, it would be more warm water, but in other cases it would be basically like laying in an ice bath for an extended period of time, so certainly not pleasant. Dave, did you pick up anything interesting in the hydrotherapy area?
No, we didn't.
Not so much, no.
Okay.
If you look on the Sunday Night Dead Facebook page, our friend Asa, he just posted the picture that he caught in the hallway of the face. If you look at it, let me pull it up. It's towards the left side of the picture. You can see a face right on the window.
I'm gonna try to shift over here and check it out as well. Particularly, I'm interested in the fact that you can see the hat part. Okay. So again, Sunday Night Dead Facebook page. I'm gonna have to reload here. I'm not. So guys, yeah, definitely check that out. It's giving me a little bit of issues loading here on mine, so I'm going to go back to the board so that I don't lose you guys on that. But definitely check that out. Definitely anyone that's in there now. I see Todd saying he can't look at it. The regular page, not the group. Anybody can go ahead and like that one and see it. So feel free, Todd, to give the page a like, and you'll be able to see it. So no, very, very, very cool. What's kind of bucket list for places to get into? What's on your bucket list for that? Places to check out.
Well, we're planning for Hillview Manor and Eastern State Penitentiary. Those are our next 2.
How about dream location?
Dream location. My dream location is, I told you last time, that the Amityville house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Amityville house would love to do that location. Oh, boy. Would love to do that.
Now, if I remember right, you actually got there and checked out you actually went and checked out, like, the exterior of it. You just haven't been in it, correct?
Yeah, we go to the house every year, and we also went to the DeFero's family plot.
Interesting. Dave, how about you? What's on your kind of dream bucket list place to check out?
My number one would have to be Waverly Hills, because I've been wanting to go there for years, and it's just too far. But I mean, that Bobby Mackey's and Amityville House would be, maybe even Linda Vista. I got so many that I just want to go to.
Let's go!
Linda Vista and Waverly Hills.
I know the feeling. Someone just starting out on this, what would be your advice to give, number one piece of advice to give somebody that's just kind of starting out doing this, listening to this, kind of intrigued, they want to start doing this type of work? Athena, what would be your piece of advice to give them?
My piece of advice: don't take no shit from anybody, because I know when we first started out, you know, we got a lot of hate mail and stuff to the places that we go to.
How about you, Tommy?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Don't take anything from anybody. That's an understatement.
And David?
I would have to say, you know, just respect it. You know, go there, respect location, respect the people that could be there. You don't want anything, you know, attaching to you. Like, I took it as a complete joke at first, you know, and it's caused a good amount of havoc.
Now, are you still, are you concerned about still what's going on? I mean, has the intensity remained pretty constant with what's been going on at your house afterwards?
Not so much. Like I said, it comes in waves, but it doesn't so much bother me because, you know, I'm very strong in my beliefs, and, like, you know, with my religion and all that, you know, demons cannot kill you. All they can do is, you know, drive you insane. And I'm already insane, so that's not a problem.
No, I can just envision the hate mail coming to me already before I even say this. So I got to give my disclaimer here that I never recommend investigating the place where you live for a variety of reasons. But I'm going to ask: have you done anything in the location in your house since you've had this activity gone on to try? Okay, can you tell me a little bit about what happened?
Well, we recently moved, so we haven't had anything going on here, but where Tommy is originally from in Staten Island, that house that he lived in was just like, when you pull up to the front of it, like, I don't know, I used to just get irritable and in a bad mood and stuff like that, and usually things would happen when he'd be at work, so I would be there alone, and I would be in the basement, and above me, I would hear in the recliner chair, the chair rocking back and forth, I would hear footsteps pacing, constantly pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And sometimes it scared the crap out of me so much I wouldn't even go upstairs to check it out. And, like, I would see the cats reacting to it and stuff. So, I mean, a couple of nights and stuff that, you know, we didn't have any plans to go anywhere or do anything. We would pull out the equipment and, you know, try to get a couple of recordings and stuff like that. And one night we actually caught a whole conversation being told in, I don't even know if it was English. It sounded, it was like, it sounded like it was mimicking me because we left the recorder going as we were just inside, and what it sounded like it was something that was copying what I was saying, but it was saying it in a different language. But I don't know how to explain, like, the tone maybe was like the same as how I was saying things, and I mean, we don't know what it said or anything like that. I mean, what else did we catch there? Tommy took a picture one time of the living room wall. Why did you take that? It was one night that I fell asleep, and he was watching Ghost Adventures, and he took a few pictures in the dark, and a whole face came out. And unfortunately, we lost the picture because it was in his old phone. But it was a picture of what it looked like to be a woman's face imprinted right on the white, you know, the white wall. And you could see she had short hair, maybe up to her ears. You could see her eyebrows. You could see her nose. You could see her chin. Like, it was just a very well-defined picture. And, I mean, we've done it a few times there, but I was always afraid what would happen to my cats. So we only did it maybe once or twice, but that was the stuff that we caught when we did it.
Yeah, our cats used to bug out, though, like, especially Elvis. the name of one of our cats. He'd always look up at the ceiling.
He was, one of our cats, he always seemed a little more sensitive than the other one, and we would see him, like, trying to, grab things almost, and, crying and pacing, and it just seemed like something was always, like, antagonizing him.
Wow, now, so that activity there, was that, your opinion, was that in the house prior, or do you think that was something after kind of going out to these locations that tagged along back?
I think from going all these places, we brought something back with us.
I believe that.
Okay. But now in the new house, you enter it, I just want to be clear, so when you get back from an investigation, you enter your new home through the front door backwards?
We're walking backwards. Yeah, and nothing's happened here.
Very interesting. So kind of passing that on to everybody as to something you might want to try, as we always get. And I know, Luana, you probably hear this all the time as well. It's the number one question I always get asked are, aren't you afraid of bringing something back with you? So.
Absolutely. It's something that you're going to, I think when you're doing this kind of work, it's just bound to happen at some point. You're in there trying to communicate and things latch on.
Absolutely. David, how about you? Did you ever check out anything? Again, I'm not encouraging you to do it, but I'm just asking if you have any investigation at your house after these things started happening.
At my house, no, because I try to ignore it, just like pretend it's not here, because that usually what helps keep it at bay. If I start giving it attention, is when it starts getting worse and worse. And the only time I've ever done any investigation for my family was for when my nephew was being attacked by it, and that's because we were just trying to get rid of it for him. But it made it increase again, so we started ignoring it, and they moved, and it seems like it didn't follow them over there. So, but I've never done any investigation in my own house.
And just for anyone that might be listening, that might be wondering, well, why would you not do it in your own house, but you're fine doing it in somebody else's? It's exactly what Dave, in my own opinion, is exactly what Dave just mentioned here. It's the idea that they seem to want attention, want to communicate, and there's a difference between going into another location and trying to communicate with versus being in the location that you're always at and trying to communicate. Then you get kind of their attention, and you're always there, so it can, at least my own opinion here, it can tend to increase things, not decrease things. So
exactly.
That's why it's the difference between doing it in your own place versus coming in and trying to help somebody else out in a different location where you then leave. So just very, very interesting. I'm seeing that some of the people that have been trying to get in the chat all night are finally just getting in. So that is another interesting thing. I'm going to go ahead and do my little random drawing here. So drum roll, please. And I do have the random number app on my phone, which is how I'm doing this, just so everybody wants to know. And the winner of the shirt this week, in the chat room, Melissa301. So Melissa301, if you can send me a message with your mailing address and the size shirt you would like, you have won a not-so-common Dead Air Paranormal T-shirt. So congratulations, Melissa. All right, so getting kind of down on time here. We have a little bit more time, but just anyone that just finally got in, if you want to send in any questions in the chat, feel free to do so. And other than that, Luana, any other questions or comments on what's going on with our guests tonight?
I guess just something that I'm curious about that I like to know from the guests that come to the radio show is, as we talk about, I've heard you guys talk about some of the photographs and some of the video and, or some of the EVPs or whatever. What's your, what piece of equipment besides our brains and our body, because that's, I think, what gets us through a lot of investigations and guides us, but what physical piece of equipment is your favorite? So if we can go around and just share that with our listeners, that would be great.
For me, anywhere between the K2 meter and what's the other one we have? I'd actually say the K2 meter would probably be my favorite one. I believe it's Athena's too. Yeah, right?
The K2 meter and the spirit box.
Yeah, and the spirit box as well.
Yeah, I love the spirit box as well. That's one of my favorites.
A lot of people are skeptical about the spirit box, though.
Yeah, they are. I think that at least my experience has been if you can be patient and develop some kind of a methodology that works for you, that's what my advice has been to other teams that are skeptical of it is, mix up the data, try to do it that way, and if you could just be patient with it, it really could be a phenomenal tool.
It is. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
I just wanted to add, definitely anyone out there, check out the show from last week. I was skeptical on the Spirit Box until I actually listened to one of George's dual Spirit Box sessions and learned a lot from his technique. But I'll say again, I'm reasonably sure that the name Matthew Slozer is not getting broadcast on radio airwaves with at all, let alone with any frequency. And, I heard it at Kerr City, and it blew me away. I could not hear it very well during the live session last week, partially because we were in this OR where there's just weird stuff happens in that OR, and weird things happen that night in that OR. But the echo in there wasn't as easy to hear at the time as opposed to playing it back on the show. But George had them repeat Matthew Slozer or Matt Slozer, like 3 times, multiple times. There's at least like 5 or 6 that came through. And again, I don't think even that pronunciation, it's not something that's, in my opinion, easy to matrix, and it comes through a lot. So definitely, if you haven't been able to check out that show, definitely check out that show because very interesting things. And we will do the, I will cut that down when we do the recap in the future and play that, but definitely, the more I've worked with that piece of equipment, the more I am a believer in it. I am curious, Tommy and Athena, anything particular style or technique-wise you use with the Spirit Box that you can share with anyone?
Well, yeah, when you're using the Spirit Box, you don't want to ask too many questions, and you don't want to have too many people, asking the questions. It's either as simple, is there anybody here? You want to get a yes or a no, or how old are you?
Sometimes you got to repeat the question a few times, and you got to give it time to answer. Well, which way do we play it though? What speed? I mean, because we could go like 20 minutes and not get anything on the Spirit Box, and then out of nowhere something will come through, and usually we try to ask questions that are relative to the location. So that way we know for sure that it's not bits and pieces of radio frequency coming through. Like, well, if we're in Letchworth, we'll ask something that, has to do with the location. So that way we know for sure, that it's not, some radio station coming in or. And usually I think we sweep it, we let the sweep go backwards.
I think backwards is a sweep.
So that way we, no words come through.
Yeah, it's and Paranormal Crossroads just posted. He was involved in the last dual Spirit Box session did at Rolling Hills, which actually we had done a recap show of that as well here on Sunday Night Dead when we had Sharon Coyle on a couple weeks ago, and again that blew me away as well. I actually downloaded the feed on that and have been going through that audio-wise and have been picking up just very long conversations that certainly would not be coming through on the radio and were related to actually what Sharon and George were talking about at the time. So again, the more I've seen this, and certainly these are shows definitely worth checking out if you haven't. It just totally amazes me with this, and I love, that's probably my favorite piece of equipment to experiment with right now, just because some of the things that we're getting are just very, very, very interesting. Dave, how about you? What's your favorite piece of equipment to use?
mine honestly is the same. It's Ghostbox. I mean, it's amazing to have a one-on-one conversation with something that's within relevant answers, you know, right there in front of you. It's just, it's nuts. You know, it's like, sadly, you know, there's a lot of skeptics with it, so some evidence, if it just seems like a random word coming out, we'll throw that away if it's not relevant, you know. But, I mean, be able to have a one-on-one conversation with something that's, you know, not there, but is
in real
time, you know.
In real time, so.
Yeah, Pam just posted. She was participating in our investigation last weekend, and I'll add it was pretty interesting. I've posted this video. I'll put it on the Sunday night page as well. We ran a simulation where there's a nursery up there, so we ran a simulation where one of our team members was rocking a baby and getting a bottle ready, and set the baby down, and I basically snatched the baby and went, not running because it was dark, I'd break my neck, but made a very hasty exit out of the hospital, and then we had security catch me down in the lower hallway. I made up this whole story trying to act like I was a nut job, saying that I was Batman, again, hoping to get Batman EVPs later. We haven't gone through all the audio yet, but I mean, I'd love if I got some, cocky, Batman or nut job or something like that, EVP after that. But what Pam was still upstairs, and so what they said is, and again, we haven't got a chance to review it yet, is we were running the spirit box at the end of the hallway with the recorder when this all happened. And they said this, I mean, it was generally just static for the most part when it was running. They said it absolutely went crazy after we did the baby snatching, just voices coming through left and right, and then they also saw shadow figures go down into the nursery area. So can't wait to see what happens on that. And that's a piece of the spirit box that I am myself just starting to experiment with, and that is not only just doing a session with it, but just leaving it in an area near where we're investigating, but not directly, not very, very close, just to see if we pick up any, there's any kind of commentary or does anything come through on it anyway. I don't know if we need to actively be engaged in talking to get feedback through it, or if just through the nature of it, it will pick up comments as well. So just something I've been working with. I'll certainly share it with everybody with what I get on this. What's your, Vaughn, any thoughts on any of this? Sorry, you're not in chat, so I keep putting you on the spot here.
Any thoughts on, I'm sorry.
The spirit box work, I know you like it as well. Any specific techniques you use or anything along those lines?
Yeah, as far as recommendations, I mean, I'm a big believer in using it. I like to start out, when I investigate, I always start out with like EVP session, and then I open up Spirit Box after that. In most of the locations, I guess I just kind of feel it out, but that's kind of my practice. And then as I do Spirit Box, I like to get with the simple, is there anyone here with us tonight? And then that gets the yes and no, and then I mix up the data. So then I start asking, can you give me a hard number? Then I look for a hard number, and then from that I'll say, can you tell me your names and see if I can get names to come through. I also like to, because of the way it's just my style of investigating, I'll often ask if there's, spirits that need help, can you say the word help? And Matt, that reminds me, I have a video that I'm going to send to you because this was something that I tested in one of my last, it was a couple investigations ago, but, I got very clear help. And then I said, can you tell me your name? Whoever said help, can you tell me your name? And it's just this conversation that goes on. And I always like to ask as well, because I'm not convinced that all spirit can see us. I think some can and some may not be able to. So I always ask for some kind of validation, like, if you can see me, can you tell me what color I'm wearing? Or, I have pink streaks in my hair, so that was one of the questions I asked at this investigation. Can you tell me what color streaks are in my hair? And they clearly said pink. And it's just neat, because you get, you mix up the data and you get results that there's a point that you say, okay, this is not just coincidence, And then I have the one spirit that I've been researching for over a year, and he always will come through and say his name. So I can say, Seth, if you're with me, can you say your name for us? And, I mean, he usually likes to show up, so he'll say it a few times for us. But it's just neat. I love I know there's a lot of skepticism, but I think when you get that kind of compelling results because you're mixing the data up and you're not just relying on yes and no, I think that makes it more interesting and, like I said, more compelling.
Totally agree. Well, we're getting a little short on time here, so I wanted to make sure we get a chance for Tommy, Athena, and Dave to give anyone listening that would like to get in touch or follow what you're doing, any contact info or pages or anything you would like to share with everyone.
Oh, yeah, you can find us on Facebook at After Dark Investigators. Or YouTube. Same thing, just search After Dark Investigator.
And Dave, how about you? Any pages or anything you'd like to share?
I don't know if my old Ghost Hunting Teams page is still up or not, but it used to be UnitedStatesParanormal.org, I believe. But if not, just my regular Facebook, David Scala, and not Facebook, I guess.
Hopefully we'll be doing some investigations soon with David.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, sounds great. Again, thank you so much, Tommy, Athena, and David, for joining us tonight. I really enjoyed talking to you. Enjoyed the last show as well, and certainly stay in touch. I'd love to hear what continues to happen on your investigations in those locations, and we'll have to have you on sometime in the future.
All right.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I just love talking to them. They're just came across their page a while ago and saw the photo albums and things from those locations. And I just, again, I love talking about locations, so I just found it very, very interesting. So next week, Luana, I will be out again. So I will be out of town. So we will have hopefully you and some other guests on to co-host with you. But again, thank you for being on with me tonight.
Yes, you're welcome.
And again, congratulations to Melissa301 for winning the shirt. Certainly get in touch with me so I can get you everything out for that. And we will see you all well, I will not see you next week, but I will be back in June. This is just, May was a very odd month. Most of the Sundays that I'm out of town are all hitting in May, so I will be back in June. Everyone
Matt?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what I was going to say is it's going to be probably a few weeks before we'll be able to host together again, because I'll be out in June, the very first part of June. So.
Oh wow! All right. Well, the and Ken's been out with a lot with work, so I think it's been quite a few weeks since the full Sunday Night Dead team has been on. But that's why we do a team effort here. So we all cover for each other. So. Look forward to talking to everybody in June, and have a great week. Have a great Memorial Day. We'll talk to you all soon. Take care.
And if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication. It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication. Sergeant Barrow while they break the spell of aging. Celebrity to the world, be my very own constellation. A teenage bride with a baby inside, getting high on information. And buy me a star and a boulevard in Californication. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. In Cobain, can you hear the spheres singing songs off station to station? And Alderon, not far away, it's Californication. Born and raised by those that praise control of population. Everybody's been there, and I don't mean no vacation. Firstborn unicorn. Destruction leads to a very rough road, but it also breeds creation. An earthquake's out to a girl's guitar, that's just another good vibration.